Hans Christian Andersen, The Teapot. The Teapot tells a story about pride, fallen memory, as well as what he has learned about friendship and jealousy. There was a proud teapot, proud of being made of porcelain, proud of its long spout and its broad handle. It had something in front of it and behind it. The spout was in front and the handle behind, and that was what it talked about. But it didn't mention its lid, for it was cracked and it was riveted and full of faults. And we don't talk about our faults. Other people do that. The cups, the cream pot, the sugar bowl, in fact the whole tea service, thought much more about the weakness of the lid and talked more about it than about the sound handle and the distinguished spout. The teapot knew it. I know you, it said within itself. I know too my imperfection, and I am well aware that in that very thing is seen my humility, my modesty. We all have imperfections, but we also have talents. The cups have a handle, the sugar bowl a lid. I have both, and one thing besides in front, which they never got. I have a spout, and that makes me the queen on the tea table. I spread abroad a blessing on thirsting mankind, for in me the Chinese leaves are brewed in the boiling, tasteless water. All this, said the teapot in its fresh young life. It stood on the table that was spread for tea. It was lifted by a very delicate hand, but the delicate hand was awkward. The teapot fell, the spout snapped off, and the handle snapped off. The lid was no worse to speak of. The worst had been spoken of that. The teapot lay in a swoon on the floor, while the boiling water ran out of it. It was a horrid shame, but the worst was that everybody jeered at it. They jeered at the teapot and not at the awkward hand. I never shall lose the memory of that, said the teapot when later on it talked to itself about its past life. I was called an invalid and placed in a corner, and the next day I was given to a woman who was begging for food. I fell into poverty and stood dumb both outside and in. But then, just as I was, began my better life. One can be one thing and still become quite another. Earth was placed in me. For a teapot, this is the same as being buried, but in the earth was placed a flower bulb. Who placed it there, who gave it, I don't know, but it was given, and it became a compensation for the Chinese leaves and the boiling water, a compensation for the broken handle and spout. And the bulb lay in the earth, the bulb lay in me. It became my heart, my living heart, such as I had never before possessed. There was life in me, power and might. My pulse beat, and the bulb put out sprouts. Thoughts and feelings sprang up and burst forth into flower. I saw it, I bore it, I forgot myself in its delight. It is a blessing to forget oneself in others. The flower gave me no thanks. It did not think of me. It was admired and praised, and I was so glad at that. How happy it must have been. One day I heard someone say that the flower deserved a better pot. I was stamped hard on my back, which was a great affliction, and the flower was put into a better pot. I was thrown away into the yard where I lie as an old potsherd. But I have the memory, and that I can never lose.